From each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are. From memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried. And with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight. Reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I'm Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 118th Disney Feature Length film from the year of February 6th, 1975. That is right, we have made it to the year 1975. And I see that KJ is celebrating that by having some purple lights around our studio. But we have made it to the year 1975, believe it or not. And from February the 6th of 1975, film number 118 is The Strongest Man in the World. The Strongest Man in the World is the final film in the Dexter Riley trilogy. It is the first one was The Computer That Wore Tennis Shoes, and the second one was Now You See Him, Now You Don't. Where will this one rank out of those ones? All familiar faces from the first ones, including Kurt Russell, who I just found out was born in Western Mass, just like me.
Really?
Yeah, he's born in Springfield.
Really?
Yeah. And it is also Kurt Russell's final Disney role, except for a film that he was a voice actor in. Do you know what film he lended his voice to?
No.
The Fox and the Hound.
Really?
Yes, he did. We'll get there in a
What
few years.
character did he
We'll get
play?
there in a few years.
I don't know if I believe it.
No, he did.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
This is also Joe Russell, who was in a handful of Disney films. This is his final film. He actually came out after he died. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Passed away before the film could be released, even though his voice was also recorded for the release of The Rescuers in a few years. So this is actually his last film, just as himself, not a voice. And Cesar Romero, our dear Batman friend, returns as the villain. This is Eve Arden's first and only Disney credit, but she will go on to get massive fame as the principal in Grease in just a few years after this. And I mentioned that there is a very large cast, but I will turn it over to you for a synopsis about The Strongest Man in the World. Is it the strongest film in the world? We will talk about it now.
Dexter Riley and his friends accidentally discover a new chemical mixed with a cereal seems to give anyone temporary superhuman strength.
It's true. I don't like cereal. But
Love cereal.
any opening thoughts, or would you like to dive right into The Strongest Man in the World from 1975?
We can dive right in.
Well, the floor is yours.
All right. So we are back at Medfield College, and Dean Higgins is pulled up to the school in his car, his prized possession. And it looks like he is wearing what appears to be a fuzzy sock on one foot. We don't know exactly what's happened to him, but it's very weird.
He's got a hurt foot.
But later we find out that he's wearing the slipper due to a corn on his foot, and it is causing him a lot of pain. He is sitting in a meeting with an important man that we find out is about to fire him for financial mismanagement due to some extreme overspending in Professor Quigley's science class.
Also, due to every film that we've ever watched with him, they're trying to raise money for the school.
Yeah, so once again, Medfield College is in money problems. So Higgins proposes that he will get rid of Professor Quigley to save his own tail. So However, he's told, sorry about the dog barking. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, um, we're told that that's not going to work, and he has 30 days to raise money to save the school and his job. And if he doesn't, he's getting fired.
Top level changes.
Yeah. Um, so when the guy is about to leave Higgins' office, Higgins looks out into the hall and sees a cow in the hallway. He panics and stops the guy from leaving, saying that he forgot his hat.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out the guy never even had a hat. It was
Higgins.
Higgins' hat, but he was just trying to stall. So the guy leaves. Higgins then finds out that the high costs are due to renting a cow for $15 a day that they're using as a test subject. However, we find out what they're doing is feeding her various concoctions of things to fix her, what Skylar says is nutritional deficiencies and to make her fatter. Higgins is just outraged by this. And then, in good fashion humor, the cow steps on Higgins' corn and causes him a lot of pain, which, in this rage, Higgins fires quickly, then threatens to have his entire class thrown out of college.
And I was correct. Kurt Russell played Copper. Back to you.
I didn't think you told us. I thought you said we had to wait.
No,
You jumped the gun.
I know you wanted to know. Okay, back to you.
Thank you. Anyway, so when the dean slams the door as he leaves, Dexter Riley's chemical experiment mixes, as it falls over, into the vitamin cereal mix that Skylar was working on. So while all this is happening, the professor is talking to the students, trying to calm them down, and we see the cow in the background eating some of this cereal.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. And ironically, after he eats the cereal that nobody notices, he or she, I guess she, ended up coughing like everybody else does, out a huge puff of smoke after you eat the cereal. So anyway, the students then learn in the next scene that the cereal gave the cow the ability to produce a huge supply of milk that produced like over 80 gallons.
Yeah, I was gonna say 80 gallons of milk.
Yeah, so the next morning, Dexter eats the cereal and he ends up gaining superhuman strength, but he doesn't know that quite yet. It's weird because you pour the cereal out and it kind of like, I don't know, vibrates and imagines like what you hear Rice Krispies to sound like. That's kind of the movement that the cereal's doing.
You also get to the dog. Did you mention that?
I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
So anyway, he only has one bite of it and basically puffs out the smoke and he's just like, yeah, I'm not eating that anymore. So he gives it to Skylar and tells him, you can give that to Brutus if you want. I'm done. So Skylar gives the rest of the cereal to Brutus, their dog, which in the beginning we find out is kind of like a cowardly dog, and he's kind of bullied by this other dog in the neighborhood. And he's a smaller dog, so I guess it kind of makes sense. Anyway, Brutus eats this cereal, puffs out some smoke after he eats it, and then we see that he gains confidence and strength. Very humorously, he starts chasing the bully dog. So then on the way to school with his friends, Dexter bends a light pole, then he breaks a basketball hoop. He then goes into the dean's office because he's convinced that the cereal is what did this, and he's like, maybe we can get Quigley's job back, raise some money. Ironically, like all the other films. So he runs into the dean's office and with Quigley, and with his superhuman strength, he picks up this student who was in Higgins' office being reprimanded. He picks the student up while he's still sitting in his chair with his right hand, and then he picks up Skylar with his left to prove
The
that
dare and everything, yeah.
this is something going on. Higgins jumps on this as an opportunity to get Medfield out of the financial slump
Of course it
and
does.
to keep the Board of Regents from firing him. So, Higgins takes the formula that's laced in this cereal to the board company of the cereal. And we find out that it is Crumply Crunch. And he demonstrates its effects while wearing what he says is his old gym outfit, but looks like a onesie PJ set and Chuck Taylor high tops.
Okay, it's the 70s.
I feel like when I think of the 70s and gym outfits, I think of guys wearing short
That's
shorts
the 80s.
and tank tops,
That's the 80s.
but not onesies that look like you crawled out of a Western that has a butt flap.
It's the 80s. Think of Stranger Things.
They weren't wearing butt flap
No,
pajamas.
that was the 80s.
Still, I don't know. Anyway, deep dive into magic if you've seen gym outfits like this from the 70s, I guess. I don't know. Super weird. Anyway, he demonstrates these effects to the board and its president, which we find out is Aunt Harriet Crumply. And this entire demonstration seems like something that would be straight out of a circus. Any thoughts?
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, out of circus.
No.
No, it's just nonsense. It's just hijinks. It's
Yeah, okay. So anyway, they discuss how long these effects last, and the dean kind of tells them, well, it kind of just depends on the person and how much of it you eat, da da da. However,
dun, dun,
Cousin
dun.
Edward, because this seems to be a family company, Cousin Edward mentions it's good it doesn't last too long because this can push for more cereal sales. So they decide to advertise the powers of the Formula Lay cereal by challenging their rival, Crinkle Crunch, that is ran by Mr. Kerwood Crinkle, to a competition between their sponsored weightlifting team and Medfield's to see which cereal can give one's greater strength.
Yeah, and of course the other weightlifting team is the state college that they've fought every single time so far.
That has the best of everything.
Really, there's a mole, but I don't get too far ahead.
So Crinkle sponsors the well-funded state college, basically. So they get everything. They've already had everything. And it looks like Redfield is the underdog once again. But at this point, they're all convinced that they have the advantage because of this formula in the cereal. So they're still excited. Crinkle, however, we find out has a mole named Harry on the inside that tells.
Guessed out of it. You're like, it's this dude.
Oh, yes.
I was like, give it some time.
So, yeah. So Aunt Harriet is telling Dean Higgins, you have to be tight-lipped with this. You can't let anything out because there's moles here. We don't know who the moles are, but somebody is spying on the inside and giving our rivals this information. And we have spies over there too. But we don't know whose ours is. And then it starts slowly like going through all the different people. And it gets to this one guy, and I was like, that's the mole.
Clearly.
And I was right. I was right. I was proud of myself. Anyway, so Crinkle's mole's named Harry, and he's on the inside, and he is telling Crinkle's president about the formula. He also tells them that they need to withdraw because they are not going to win. He has seen what the cereal can do.
But I just left the thing.
And We find out that this guy can't withdraw because he has advertised it everywhere, so it's kind of too late to pull out now. So enter AJ Arno again. We find
Tito
out,
Romero
yeah, we find out he has just been released from prison with his henchmen.
again.
Yep. So Harry hires AJ Arno and his henchmen to steal it. So he is going to steal the formula. They break in to the school, but they are almost caught before they can get it. So they don't successfully get it. And it's pure hijinks again. Um, the henchman actually is doing the right thing, and AJ Arnold is like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to quickly go out here. Like he
I
had
love the henchman.
second thoughts on it.
He's my favorite character of this trilogy.
Yeah. And the guard is sitting outside the door with his chair propped up against the door to the lab where the secret stuff is kept. And he is asleep, but his chair is propped up against the door. So when AJ Arnold opens the door, the security guard falls back, wakes up, calls for help, and basically they are busted.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So they then decide they just need to get to the source, so they decide to kidnap Skylar. However, no one knows that it's Dexter's chemical that was the vital ingredient in this formula, not the vitamins that Skylar put into it. So, joke's on them, they didn't really actually get to the source like they thought they were. Higgins calls the police to report a kidnapping, but the police don't want to be bothered with it. We find out that the police chief isn't even in to take the complaint of Higgins as he is in Chinatown.
This lady.
Ironically, Arno and his henchmen take Skylar to Chinatown where they use Chinese hypnotism to get the formula. So this guy hypnotizes Skylar to basically tell him everything he put in the cereal. So Skylar starts spitting out all these scientific names for vitamins. So if you don't know your B vitamin names other than vitamin B, you're not going to know what they're talking about. But basically, we get all the scientific names for vitamins, and this is what he's put in the thing. So Arno is quickly trying to write this down as Skylar's spitting it all out. And then he is hypnotized again to return home and not to tell anyone what happened to him. So at this point, Arno and his henchmen leave, and the guy tells him while he's being hypnotized to go home, not tell anybody, take the first transportation method that you see. Well, this accidentally causes Skylar to steal a police car.
While the dude's like taking pictures.
Yeah.
Cop, yeah.
While the police chief is too busy to help him get home to his dog. And he's taking pictures. So Skylar just hears that voice in his head telling him, take the first method of transportation that you see. So he hops in the police car and drives home with the sirens off.
Because there's never any cops when you want them, and the cops all show up.
Yeah, all of them. Ironic. So this basically causes a car chase, which gets him thrown into jail. Crinkle Crunch thinks they have the formula because Arno delivers what Skylar told him, but they don't. So without the chemical added into it, they're not going to have the superhuman strength. So when Crinkle tries it, he ends up breaking his hand. And then he berates the mole on the phone. The mole then realizes that if they do not know that the formula does not work, then Medfield does not know either. So either way, Medfield should lose the competition, putting the other sponsored school ahead.
Yeah, Medfield has never won this competition in over 30 years.
Medfield's probably never won this competition ever. Anyway, so
the Battle of the Cereals.
Yeah. So on the day of the competition, they start off by having all of the competitors like at a table, like a panel table, with their brand of cereal in front of them, and they're eating cereal. And then one of the spectator commentator people says something about this looks more like a cereal eating contest more than a weightlifting contest so far. So they eat the cereal, but then Dexter realizes that it was his formula that gave the cereal the superhuman strength, because he realizes he does not have the strength that he had.
And it doesn't taste like acid.
And the taste doesn't quite where it was before. So he asks Skylar, hey, like, did you change up the formula? And he said, no, I did exactly what I did before. And he's like, well, something's different. It doesn't quite taste the same, and I don't have the strength that I have. And then you look at the teammates, and the teammates behind him look very enthusiastic. So it seems to be like a placebo effect, because they actually think they've got this. So Dexter realizes he's got to get to the lab and figure out what happened, because it doesn't taste right. Something's off. So he sets off to the lab to get it, and he asks the dean if he can take his car, and the dean, not paying attention, says yes.
It's like everybody he asks, they can't, like there's no car,
Yeah.
so we have to take this prize car, this old.
And it's his beautiful car, but it is super duper slow.
Mm-hmm.
So the team has to start lifting weights. The other team, their entire team looked way older than college-age students.
Oh yeah, 60-year-old WWE students over here.
You commented on that.
The only thing that you missed on this so far is that the mole dude hears that this dude's going back to the school, so he tells these 60-year-old WWE students.
Yeah, so the mole reaches out and tells Arno, hey, this guy knows that something's wrong with the formula and he's going to the lab, but you need to intercept him. So Arno is back on the job. So the first guy goes up, he lifts his weights, he's super built, lifts his weights, ends up, I think, getting them 250 pounds, no problem. Well, it was probably more than that. Anyway, 250 points is what he got.
Then it was 200 pounds. Each point was a
point. Okay, so then he left 250 pounds. So enter Medfield's first guy, and all of a sudden he's like struggling to lift this up. He can't lift it up, and then all of a sudden Stretch Armstrong literally enters the screen.
Long arms, yeah.
He stands up, his arms are still holding on to the thing, but I don't know, literally Stretch Armstrong is what it looked like. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to a scene where Dexter is driving to the lab, oh, so slowly still. He has not made it yet. And then the second contestant from Medfield goes and lifts his weight, but then he can't let go of the barbell and ends up earning them 100 points.
So he basically lifts 100. Like he's like, you know what, we gotta do something. So he lifts just 100 pounds.
Yeah, so they took some weight off to at least get some points. But he can't let go of the barbell. And then he just humorously falls over backwards with the barbell still in hand overhead. Dexter finally gets to the lab. He is confronted by Arno and 10 of his goons. However, he had drank a little bit of his formula and was like, there's where the acidic taste comes from. This is what it is. So turns out Skylar had nothing. Dexter once again came up with whatever it was. So
it's because he was born in Springfield.
Yeah. So Dexter quickly drinks some of the stuff when he distracts the henchmen again, the goons, and he is able to beat up all the men. And then when he is leaving the building, Harry the mole is there. So he picks him up and basically throws him down the hall into the other guys, and it looks like we just went bowling.
Yeah, he bowls a strike.
Yeah. However, on his way back to the school, he hears on the radio that he must return to the contest in 4 minutes or forfeit.
He also has to lift 1,100 pounds.
No, 1,111 pounds.
Oh, okay.
To win. So, why not add the formula to the car's fuel tank? Why not, I guess, at this point. So, he does this, which makes it race off at a high speed, shedding parts of it as he goes down the road. Poor Dean Higgins. His car is just literally falling apart. He gets pulled over at one point, and his feet are on the ground holding the car in place
Yeah,
because he is at a red light. And
he had to stop the Flintstone way.
yeah, and the police are going around to the back to get his tag information, and the light turns green, and he said, "Sorry, I gotta go," and then just takes off again quickly and leaves the policeman covered in soot. Um, so he makes it in time to compete last, but the car is literally just pieces left. Um, and the horror on Dean Higgins' face. Medfield is losing very badly, and that's when we find out that he has to lift 1,111 pounds just to pull off a win, but he uses the last of his super strength to lift this and win it for Crumply Crunch
He
in
does struggle.
Medfield. He did struggle like everybody else, but he does successfully lift it right at the nick of time. And Higgins and Quigley get to keep their jobs. And then once again, Arno is arrested and imprisoned. And the scheming Crinkle Crunch guy breaks his hand again after eating the wrong cereal. So that was the movie.
Thoughts?
I loved it. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I liked it better than all the others in the series. I think you had a differing opinion than I did.
Thoughts was the worst of the trilogy by far.
I thought it was the best.
It was the worst of the trilogy by far.
It kept my attention. It had great humor. I love cereal. Maybe that was the underlying tone to it. I don't know. I loved it.
I'm happy you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. I thought it was funny. Had a good plot. Kind of predictable at times, obviously, but I liked it. You did.
I'm happy it's over.
Okay. Do you have any other thoughts other than it's over?
It's fine. We watched it. I'm happy we watched it. I'm happy we made it to 1975.
All right. So, are you interested in a little bit of trivia?
I know that our faithful listeners are.
Okay. So, even though Kurt Russell receives top credit, he has the least amount of screen time in this film than the previous two films in the series, with the most of the story focusing on other characters, particularly Skylar, Higgins, and Arno, which I thought was humorous. I don't know. So, and then let's see. In each film in the Dexter Riley series, Medfield College obviously has the financial trouble. And then we have the antics of always saving the school. But at the end of Now You See Him, Now You Don't, Skylar had said next year he will have to come up with a solution, which is seen as foreshadowing events for The Strongest Man in the World, as Skylar and his creation of the cereal that sets the motion of the plot for this superhuman strength that they accidentally find. And then there are a total of 7 times the strength formula is successfully put to the test in the movie by 2 people, 2 animals, and 1 inanimate object. One being Ruthie Bell the cow. She gave over 80 gallons of milk. Dexter was another, where he accidentally got strong and figured out that the formula got mixed with the Crumply Crunch cereal. Brutus the dog, he gained strength and courage and chased away the bigger dog that was bullying him. Dean Higgins giving a strength demonstration to Crumply Crunch Executive Board. And then Dexter again by escaping the goons to steal the formula, and then Dean Higgins' car when Dexter has to go back quickly to the weightlifting competition, and then the final scene where Dexter is able to lift 1,111 pounds.
Mhm. That's all you got?
That's all I got.
So does it acid taste your way onto your list upon a star?
It crumply crunches its way right there.
It does?
It does!
You're gonna knock bed knobs and broomsticks up. Okay, go ahead. The list is yours. It's your list, not mine. Rude.
It does. It does make my list. So my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians, The Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The World's Strongest
That's
Man,
5? This is gonna be on for a long time. Go
Um,
ahead, keep going.
Napoleon and Samantha, Snowball Express, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, and Lady and the Tramp.
What?
Sorry.
Because he was born in Springfield.
It's
Uh, um,
probably because of cereal, but yeah.
okay. Well,
That's probably what it was.
I'm happy you enjoyed it. This does not make my list upon a star. My list upon a star through the first film of the year 1975 is staying the same at 101 Dalmatians, followed by Mary Poppins, followed by Peter Pan, followed by Robin Hood, followed by Alice in Wonderland, followed by Bedknobs and Broomsticks, followed by Babes in Toyland, followed by Napoleon and Samantha, then the Aristocats, and all the way back from the second film that we watched, currently still on the chopping block at number 10, it is Pinocchio. But thanks for watching. This film made a shocking appearance on KJ's number 5 over here, but thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us as always. Again, we are on Instagram if you want to come say hello. We are on YouTube and Spotify, Deep Dive into Magic. We would love to have you. If you want to leave a comment or tell your friends, thank you for all of your nice words. And speaking of nice words, deep diving the magic pod at gmail.com. If you want to tell KJ she's wild for knocking Bedknobs and Broomsticks off of her list for this, but it's okay. It's her list. I'm happy for her. But our next film, a month into the future of 1975. Are you ready for this? You ready for this, KJ? We finally finished this trilogy, right? Trilogies are in the past. In time to start a new trilogy of Escape to Witch Mountain, and we're doing the Witch Mountain series. So the first one in the Witch Mountain series is film number 119 from March of 1975, and it is The Escape to Witch Mountain. And we'll see you then for March of 1975, The Escape to Witch Mountain, a new trilogy begins.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.